This ain't a podcast.
It kind of is. Hello and welcome. It's been a bit of a hype, bit of a hippa hoppa.
The fuck is your problem?
That's what I'm trying to say. It's been a little while, but needless to say, we were busy.
Some of us were busy in different ways,
and then we
whoops.
Well, we had a video coming out.
It's still coming. It's still coming.
It's just, let's just say, you can't see it. It's off screen, but there's a little something that kind of set it back a little bit.
Spoiler alert, he broke his ankle.
So it was like a week it was supposed to be, we were working on it.
We literally had finished everything except one filming part, and then finishing the editing.
Yeah.
And then the weekend we were going to finish filming it, he broke his ankle. So basically, dislike.
Yeah. But that's not what we're here for. We do still have that video coming out. If you've watched the channel for a little bit, you know it's the Destiny one. It's a big one. Probably the biggest.
Spoiler alert, it's triple the length of any other Divine Design.
Yeah, so, there's a lot to it.
Lot of fun segments. I had a lot of fun filming it.
But for here, 2017. Wow.
What a year. Well,
wow.
What a year for games. What a bad year for basically everything else.
Well, no, but so here's the cool thing, right? Like, for game releases, wow. Like, genuinely just... I think we were going to do it in 2016 last year, I remember, and it was like, oh, we thought we could think of a couple games, but I couldn't peg 10. I have the...
2016 wasn't even like it was that bad of a year. It was just not as good as 2017.
I have the document still on our... I'm going to move this over here for you, Randy. So you're looking at the camera.
Someone keep staying.
I have the document still on our Google Drive of all of my games of the year, all the awards we were going to do and everything. But I remember struggling making 10. That I was like, oh, this deserves to be like on a recognition. 2017, I was like easy. everything. I know exactly what's going on here in a minute. Just
I had
boom.
I had a couple that I didn't know if we were gonna.
And even then, I had like backups still. Like, there are still a couple games that aren't on this list that Randy and I are going to talk about briefly as our honorable mentions.
We've also been really busy as far as trying to play certain games because, like, you know, jobs and still working on the house stuff and, you know, adult shit. Fuck you.
But we're doing it. We're doing it.
All right. So
let's just get it. So this video, we're going to have a second video on the channel as well if you want to check it out, which would be more like miscellaneous recognitions, soundtracks, art. Figured we'd try to split it up just because it's people want to see the game of the year list. But before we jump into it, the way we're going to do this is two things. We're starting on our list from 10 to 1. Randy's going to go first, then me, and then we're gonna.
God, our lighting looks so good. I just got so sidetracked.
Does it? I don't know.
Someone in the comments, your lighting looks like a shit faggot.
Well, that's just me. I'm also overly critical, so I'm gonna look at it and go, could be better over here. It's so he's gonna go, and then I'm gonna go. If we decide, for example, he says his number 10, and that happens to be like my number 3. If I want to, we can talk about it obviously at the same time. But if I want to say like that's my number 3, then.
You can.
So be it. But
he's not obligated to.
Yeah,
if he wants to spoil his list and be an asshole, he can.
But we might, if for like the ones that like aren't number 1, like if you say you're number 6 and it's like my number 1 or something, it's like I might not say that's my number 1. You know, that's not part of the fun.
Also, we don't know each other's lists because we're doing it off of our phones.
Yes, we specifically tried to do this.
Also, his phone case is a lot cuter than mine.
It's kind of wearing out though.
Look at it.
I've had this for like 3 years.
It's been.
Where was it? Like Redbubble, I think. I bought this one.
You got that case the same year I got my S4. It's been 4 years.
I need a new phone. I have one for work.
This is my third phone in 5 years.
But before we start, let's go through a couple honorable mentions because there are 2 games in particular that I really want to give a shout out, and I actually feel bad because for some reason my brain is derping on the other one.
I know one of mine. And the reason why I haven't gotten around to like continue playing it is really dumb and stupid. But it's just, such a pet peeve of mine with current generation consoles. I know I've already talked to you about it. I gotta give a shout out because I loved Wolfenstein: The New Order. I have to give a shout out to Wolfenstein: The New Colossus. I've only played like 3 hours of it. It's great. I shouldn't have bought it on the PS4 only because of how PC the new consoles are. I remember telling Chaz, I was so excited. I was like, you know what? I picked up Wolfenstein the other day. I'm gonna play it. And it's like, I stuck it in the console, and I expect this shit with a PC. Like, if I had bought it on PC, and I had to wait for it to install, I expect that. For some reason, I'm still not in the mindset that shit installs on the consoles automatically, so I stuck it in the PS4, and I had to wait like a half hour for it to update and fucking install, and I was like...
Yeah.
And it basically killed my mood.
Yeah.
So I was like trudging through while still enjoying the first couple hours, and I was like, I don't have the interest.
Yeah, that stuff does start to suck.
But definitely, I can already tell this is going to be just as good, if not better, than the New Order.
And from what I've seen, I didn't play it, but from what I've seen, it did well. So, the two games quickly that I want to give a shout out to. The first one, I've played before. It's a remake, and that's Okami HD. I just want to give a shout out to that game more so because
how fucking awesome it is.
It's amazing. It's a great game. And his girlfriend is actually playing it, or fiance now. Fiance.
That's also a thing I did. My life is over.
Has started playing it for the first time, and I've been watching her since I've been kind of stuck to the house lately.
I'm excited to play it only because I've never played Okami.
But watching her play it for the first time is really kind of cool. But the biggest reason I want to give a shout out to it isn't just because Okami. $20 for an HD remake.
If you're looking to stretch it, about a 60-hour game.
But even then, like, irregardless, crazy. For an HD remake, for the fact that it's running at 60 frames, and it looks just as good as it always has, that's awesome. What a way to do it. And the other one, real quick, it's not on my list, and I want, but I just need to give a
one more.
Okay, we'll cap ourselves at two each.
Well, I didn't plan on having like 84 fucking honorable mentions.
The other one I just want to give an honorable mention because thank God we're finally on a run again of good ones, was Assassin's Creed Origins. Thank freaking God we finally had a good one.
I'll be honest, I'm shocked it's not on your list.
It's not. It is not on my list. I like it a lot. My biggest thing, I just haven't played enough of it. I'm about like 4 or 5 hours into it, but there's a couple things I like. I just think there are other games still so far that I've played that are better.
My other one really quick, and this might actually sound really random to you, Blaster Master Zero.
No, I remember you wanting to get me to play that.
It is. We're going to have to play it because I've never played I played the original Blaster Master.
I have played the original so many times.
But I think Blaster Master Zero does literally everything better, and it's co-op. And the co-op sounds so boring. Like, me and our buddy Andrew were playing it, and he was playing the single player, or I was playing the single player. He's like, well, let's do co-op. I was like, all right, well, what the fuck's the co-op? And the co-op is literally second player just controls a secondary gun off screen and shoots shit. And you'd think, that sounds kind of dumb. But the game is designed around the fact that you could play co-op. So you don't feel like you're just some random dude. It doesn't feel like how Super Mario Galaxy co-op feels, where you're just another pointer on the screen collecting star bits.
Yeah.
You're literally helping. Like, if your buddy wants to go off and explore and look for something off to the side, and a dude's chasing him, you can fend off the dude while he's trying to pick up ammo or something.
Yep.
So, like, shout-outs to Blaster Master Zero is one of the first games I bought on my Switch. So
cool. So, as we go into this, keep in mind these are we aren't looking at these as an objective thing. Because I will tell you what, my number one would probably still be in the top 3, but it's not. I don't think it'd be number 1 for this year. But these are our favorites, not the ones we think are the best, the ones that we, for some reason, just clicked with the most.
We're dumb.
I've always wanted to do like something where we try to look at it as objectively as possible as what we think the best of the year is. I think you and I we could probably try it at the end. What we think the best game that came out this year was. I think that could be interesting. Or maybe the game that'll last the test of time the longest. So, just keep that in mind. And we're gonna we're putting footage to all of this, so we're not gonna be on this screen as much. We don't have footage of every game. I'm gonna try to get as much footage as we can. If not, I will make sure to link or put a thing up of the YouTuber if we borrow some footage from somebody, just because they deserve it. They deserve the credit for it. Obviously, if they played the game. So, without further ado, Randy.
So, number 10.
Yes.
I don't know.
Everything went wrong.
You're just.
I don't know how to drum.
Mom, I want to eat. So number 10 is Splatoon 2. I originally had.
I saved your phone.
I originally had Blaster Master Zero as my number 10. And the more I thought about it, for me, I'm really weird. I tend to like top 5s more than top 10s, only because I feel like a top 5 means more in the end. So picking 10 games is like, I have no problem picking my top 5. It's always from 6 to 10 that I always struggle with. Splatoon 2 just only edged out Blaster Master Zero because of how much I liked the first game. So maybe I was a little jaded going into the second game, because in actuality, Splatoon 2 isn't all that different. There's new guns, the campaign's a little better. The map design's way better.
Yeah,
in the second
agreed.
game.
100% agreed.
Way better. Salmon Run is a welcomed addition. But the reason Splatoon 2 sits at 10 is there's a couple little nagging things that really need to stop.
Yeah.
The big one is Salmon Run. Why that is still on a weekly schedule.
Yeah.
Blows my fucking mind.
It's like they decided they had this really good idea and they've created this awesome game mode.
And everyone loves it.
It's the best thing about Splatoon 2, I think. And then but it's also the thing you can't do when you want. It's such a weird thing.
That and, you know, the fact that it is... I'll make the Destiny 2 joke. It's basically Splatoon 1.5.
Yeah. Which, well, in a way, though, right? I mean, that's kind of what people wanted. Yeah, they want more Splatoon.
It's a good game. If you have a Switch, which, by the way, congrats to the fucking Switch this year.
They just broke another... They broke a record, you were telling me?
It is the highest-selling console in America this year.
Like in a year sold, right?
Yep.
Or something? Like
highest-selling console of all time in a 1-year span.
That's awesome. That's
intense.
That's incredible.
That's intense. But Splatoon 2 is number 10. I really like the campaign. I love the multiplayer. It's still just as addictive. The new weapons are great. The rebalances
some of the new weapons are really cool.
The rebalances to some of the older weapons are really great. Salmon Run's amazing. It's just more of the same, which isn't a bad thing in the case of Splatoon, because Splatoon 1 was great. Yeah. And they're still doing free updates with Splatoon 2, so that's great.
That's awesome.
So, number 10, Splatoon 2.
I think I'm going to be with you here. I think my 10 to 6 is probably going to be quicker. I think once we hit number 5, I'm going to start to gush a little bit. So, my number 10 is a game I had to put on here because it scratched an itch for me that had been wanted to be scratched for a very long time, and that is Mighty Gunvolt Burst. Thank you to Andrew, by the way, my buddy Andrew. If you want to watch him on Twitch, I'll even shout him out. It's twitch.tv/slucky7. He was at fucking SGDQ.
Yeah, he was at SGDQ last year.
And thank you for recommending it to me. It is the Mega Man game I've wanted for a very long time. And with Mega Man 11 coming out, hopefully next year.
Hopefully. I think it's...
I'm optimistic for it, because I'm hoping. But since Mighty Number 9... and Capcom just being so silent on Mega Man games, it's kind of been up to everybody else to make a Mega Man game. And I didn't play the original Mighty Gunvolt or the Azure Striker. Like, I've not watched or played any of the other Gunvolt games. But this one, and it's instantly grabbed me. The customization to the abilities is intense. Is so cool. Like the fact that you don't just get like a burst fire, you can make it be like a single charge shot that's more powerful, or you can choose how many pellets are going to be on the screen at a time, and that'll affect the power of it, or how fast you shoot, or if it ricochets or not.
It's deep without being deep. It's weird.
It's really simple, but yet super complex. It really is. It's simply complex, I think is the best way to put it. And Beck is in it for Mighty Number 9, so you kind of get to actually play a good Mighty Number 9 game. That's kind of cool. But the level design is great. The bosses are so interesting. Like I
remember that day. And this isn't to be mean to you. I remember that day Andrew came over with a Switch, and he was playing Mighty Gunvolt Burst, and he wanted you to try it. And I can tell kind of when you're in that mood of like, I don't really want to try it, but I guess I'll try it.
Yeah.
Literally 3 hours later.
Yeah.
3-4 hours later, Chaz is like, what?
Yeah, I 100% did not want to play it, to be honest. I was like, I just don't really care. Like I've kind of gotten so cold to Mega Man games. I didn't want to play it, and it looked like it was okay, you know? I was wrong. Mighty Gunvolt Burst is awesome. It is so awesome, and if you have any interest in Mega Man-style games, you have to get it. And playing it on the Switch especially is the best. Laying in bed, just trying to beat a level real quick in like 20-30 minutes before you go into bed.
And that way when you get mad and throw it, it's on your bed, so it doesn't break anything.
Exactly. You hit the cushion. That's me. That's number 10. Mighty Gunvolt Burst. Shout out to it.
So this is the one I said you might think is a little weird. So number 9 for me, I guarantee you it's way higher on his list, is Divinity Original Sin 2.
That is a good game.
So here's the thing.
It is higher on my list.
Didn't play Divinity Original Sin 2 until about 5 days ago.
We both played it in the last week of the year. And we purposely said anything we play after the first doesn't count.
Yep.
But we played it before the new year. We did.
Wow. He's played entirely more than I have.
It's good.
Here's the thing. I don't have a heck of a lot of time in Divinity, but the thing that's so interesting to me and why I wanted to put it on here is Divinity hits that weird chord for me of like a D&D inspired RPG that is so true to what makes D&D great.
And RPGs, I think, in general.
So I've played a couple D&D sessions. My thing is, it's very hard for me. This gets weirdly personal, but it's really hard for me to commit a day out of the week to one specific thing and continuously do it. I love seeing my friends and going to D&D and creating characters and having those adventures, but some days I don't want to go, and that's not, at the fault of my friends or D&D. It's just I don't want to leave. I want to come home and I want to do what I do.
Yeah, I think it's fair.
D&D, or... see how they're
correlated? Yeah, they're really
Divinity
similar.
Original Sin 2 is the D&D experience I want to have with having the option of staying home. Because not only is it very clearly inspired by Dungeons and Dragons and Pathfinder and all this other stuff.
Any pen and paper game.
It's... I don't even know how to describe it without just playing it. It's so RPG. It sounds really weird, but when you play it and when you experience the way the characters interact, how you sell things, how you buy things, how you use weapons, potions, resurrection scrolls. Like, there's no revives. You just
if a character dies,
it's dead.
You resurrect them with a scroll, or they're dead. Like that's it.
And there's a dungeon master mode.
That's the biggest, coolest thing I want to try out that I've not tried yet. Is they have an actual game master mode where you can create.
Apparently, it's great.
I've watched stuff on YouTube of it, where you can create campaigns to play with people.
That's intense.
That is awesome. I think the biggest word for me that Divinity nails, and this is what makes it so true to RPGs in general, is choice. The fact that you have to choose what you want to sell to certain merchants, because they have a limited gold supply.
Yeah.
And the fact that you can choose to barter with them if you've decided to play. The fact that
Julian steals my gold.
The fact that you can do that, though. The fact that when you play in co-op, you can steal. It's 4-player local. It's 4-player co-op. It can also be local couch co-op up to 4 players, and it's drop in, drop out.
Yep.
It's so awesome. But the fact that you can steal gold from your own party members is so cool. It's so awesome that you can, though. Choice in general is just there's like 11 classes, I think.
Yeah.
In the game or something. There are so many choices to make, and dialogue is just. I'd be underselling it if I said the dialogue was awesome.
I can tell that there's going to be a lot of time spent throughout these next couple weekends staying up late playing Divinity, because I want to keep playing it.
Our buddy Julian, he's still been playing it. I saw him last night playing it again. Like, it's awesome.
So that's number 9, Divinity Original Sin 2. For the love of God, get it.
Yeah.
Seriously.
We'll be back to that game here at some point. So my number 9. Mighty number 9.
I'm going home.
So my number 9, in a way, I hate this. I hate the fact that I have to go into this almost ready to defend something, and I shouldn't have to. And there's 2 entries on this list that I think I have to do that for. One of which I think is on both of our lists. But for me, my number 9 was Mass Effect Andromeda.
Okay.
I loved it. I feel so bad that everybody else had this apparently like
awful
garbage experience. Now, granted, I had some pretty crappy experiences with it. I remember a mission, landing on one of the planets, going into a base, and no one was loaded. I was getting shot at by bullets, but I couldn't see anything shooting at me. It was a buggy mess at launch. The animations were gross. Some of the voice acting on some of the characters is pathetic.
It's pretty garbage.
But it is the best combat in the Mass Effect game. It is the most fun I've had exploring a world in a Mass Effect game. It had some of the coolest side missions and some of the most creative side missions in the Mass Effect series. Where it is good, it is great. It is not better than Mass Effect 2. And I don't even think it's better than Mass Effect 3. I think, honest to God, even with some of the technical crap, I think it might be able to stand by the original game. I think it's pretty fine. I think it's a great game. What I don't understand is... Well, I'm happy that the outburst kind of happened, because companies do need to be held accountable for the games that they make. You can get into the whole thing about, like, oh, this isn't actually the original creators of the original trilogy or whatever. Irregardless, it's a developer that made it. And if something's wrong, you gotta call it. But my God, I don't understand, still, to this day, the overwhelming hate for it. It's not like it did anything disgusting. Like, it's not like it...
It didn't have the strongest story, but like...
No, the main story wasn't that great, which is why...
the first game.
The first game's story actually isn't all that interesting in comparison to the second and the third, really. But, dude, it's so much fun. And the worlds, the environments are gorgeous. It's absolutely gorgeous.
I saw you play a little bit of it when you were still living at our buddy Jake's house. And... It's pretty.
It's a beautiful
game.
It
might be PC syndrome where it just looks great, but I saw people playing it on PS4 and it looked pretty fucking good.
The only like real gripe I had outside of a lot of the technical stuff, the biggest gripe I had was that there weren't enough new races as party members.
Yeah.
But I think what they have as a foundation, I'm excited. I'm excited for the next Mass Effect. I know a lot of people are going to hate that. I really am. I really am excited for it.
Yeehaw. So this one might actually surprise you too, only because I know that you understand I don't like these specific type of games. But number 8 is a game that literally nobody saw coming. Literally nobody. It's Mario plus Rabbids Kingdom Battle.
Oh yeah.
Who the fuck if I told you 5 years ago that Ubisoft and Nintendo were going to partner up to make an XCOM style strategy game with guns, would you believe me?
I would think you're trying to play the lottery and come with the most absurd thing ever, just to see if you were ever right.
No, that was easily my favorite reveal at E3 this year because of how cool it was. For the first time, I felt like Ubisoft was a game company again,
and also that Nintendo's becoming less like, they don't have like this crippling clutch on their franchise anymore. The fact that we've been seeing Animal Crossing on the phone and like Mario Run and stuff shows that like they're willing to expand their franchises.
So, among the friend group, I'm notoriously known as the guy who doesn't like strategy games. They bore the ever-living shit out of me. I've been like that forever. The only strategy games I've ever been able to actually play and enjoy are Fire Emblem, and now this. I cannot stand... Oh, maybe Advance Wars. Advance Wars is kind of...
Advance Wars is pretty good.
It's in a weird spot. Like, okay.
How dare you?
How dare. But wow, I did not expect to like Mario and Rabbids Kingdom Battle. The thing is the absurdness never stops.
Yeah.
From the moment the game starts, it keeps that ridiculous momentum of how utterly batshit crazy this actually is, and never lets it drop. And everything in the game is done to the nth degree, and then some.
What I have to give them credit to is, unlike, say, so the Rabbids in this game remind me of the Minions in Despicable Me, the original, where they are the perfect balance of silly, stupid, fun, but never overdone. The Rabbids they never feel annoying. And their style of humor very easily could get annoying. But unlike, I think, the Despicable Me sequels, where the Minions
are
really overdone.
Yeah.
In this game, it's like the same thing. They remind me of the Minions so much, and they're that perfect level of humor.
It's weird. I'm gonna make the comparison only to Mass Effect Andromeda. The Rabbids get a lot of shit. I've never been one to dislike them. I'm really weird. I have a really weird sense of like, I really like hyperactive, high animation humor, and that's the Rabbids, and they always make me laugh. I'm not gonna say their games are good, because Rabbids games are pretty shit.
Well, no, I think from my experience,
the first, I liked Rayman Raving Rabbids on Wii. That was pretty good. Anything after that, I'm kind of.
The other thing too that's cool with
hot shit, like, it's so weird for me to talk about a strategy game and not be like, I was bored of it.
But it's also something that really does have a lot of strategy going on in it. Every little encounter gets
fucking hard
and creative. The layers of every stage are really, really creative. And some of the customization with the weapons and stuff. There's also something really cool about watching Mario run around with like a Mega Man blaster. That's kind of cool. I'm not gonna lie, it's really cool.
This is purely playing to how much I like Luigi, but seriously, Luigi is my favorite character because he's a sniper who hits hard, and his fucking snipers are versions of the Poltergust from fucking Luigi's Mansion. It's great. Again, I'm gonna say this a lot in this video. If you own a Switch, buy it. Like,
to be fair, that's kind of the trend this year, though. Like, get a Switch. It really is.
For fucking real.
It really is.
So, that's number 8.
Number 8?
Yeah, it's number 8.
Yeah.
Oh, God, this video's gonna be long.
So, my number 8, again, I'm coming out with a game that needs a little bit of a...
I have a sneaking suspicion.
I know you know what it is. So, for me, I think a game that was really dang good that came out this year was Yooka-Laylee.
For fucking real.
I remember specifically, it was like the week I moved in with you.
We played it together. Well, you played on your PC, I played on
mine. It was like the week we moved in together here, and we had seen the stuff on Yooka-Laylee on the reviews, and people were hammering it.
Hard.
Yeah, and then we started reading the reviews, And a lot of the complaints were so surprising. Like, we on multiple occasions found reviews of people complaining that you have to collect things to move forward. And we're just like,
have you ever played a collectathon?
That's Mario 64, that's Banjo-Kazooie, that's Banjo-Tooie, that's every collectathon ever created by man. That's just how they work. That's freaking Super Mario 3 if you wanted to argue it. Like, you gotta do something to get to the next part. That's just how those games work. But, so then I went into it a little hesitant because I'm like, okay, it's not Banjo-Kazooie. It's not.
You definitely have to... I'll not say it's better than Banjo.
No, I don't think it is.
But you have to go into it knowing that this isn't Banjo.
But I went into it thinking that it's not going to be the same quality as Banjo-Kazooie, but I wanted to experience it. And it is one of the best collectathons we've had in probably the last decade. Without a doubt.
100%.
And my biggest thing is, like, I just don't understand the hate for it.
Don't
like,
get it.
The controls are crisp. They're mint. They're very tight.
The level design's phenomenal.
It's really cool. The music is great. It's not as catchy as I would have imagined.
That's one thing.
Considering that there's Grant Kirkhope, David Weiss, and I believe... Oh, what's his name? Robin Beanland?
I thought it was only David Weiss and Grant
It might have been those two, but even then, considering those two, people who have made the Banjo-Kazooie... Any Rareware game, basically, from Super Nintendo... To the end of the 64, besides Conkers.
No, because did they do the music for Ghouls and Ghosts, Super Ghouls and Ghosts?
I don't remember, but they did most of it, right? Killer Instinct.
I know a game on the Xbox,
but Killer Instinct, Jet Force Gemini, all those classic Rare games. These two people pretty much did it all. Donkey Kong Country, all of it.
The thing is like that's one of those complaints I felt like went towards it's not Banjo-Kazooie levels of music. Here's the thing, Banjo-Kazooie is its own fucking game.
Yeah.
Yooka-Laylee has a very clear, distinct atmosphere difference to Banjo-Kazooie. Like, Banjo-Kazooie is saving your sister. Mm-hmm. Banjo-Tooie is avenging the death of one of your friends. Mm-hmm. Yooka-Laylee's getting a fucking book back.
But the one thing, though, the games do have similar, because I think to say that you can't compare the two is kind of silly. Like, going into the Yooka-Laylee conversation, Banjo is going to come up.
Yep.
The big thing, though, is their humor is so good.
It's hysterical.
It is exactly what I would have wanted.
It's hilarious.
It is Banjo humor to a T. Just the boss, what's his name? Capital B?
Yeah.
Like, him and his business overblowing corporation nonsense. And he calls out video game tropes in, like, businesses from video games. And it's so funny. And, like, Laylee will be like, well, that's terrible. And you're like, yeah, I know. But, like, there's that. There's... Some of the moves and the power-ups you get are they feel like they would be in a Banjo 3. They really do. I don't want to go too much onto it. If you like the collectathons and you were hesitant about Yooka-Laylee because a lot of the hate it got, as somebody who is overly critical about way too many things, honestly, I don't see the hate. I do not see. I remember the whole time we were playing, I was just like, I'm not seeing the complaints. There were clear things people were saying, like, this is a problem. And then I'd experience that section and be like, where was the problem? That doesn't happen. What people were saying, like, these issues, just don't happen.
There is one thing, however, we do agree on. The minigames suck.
Was it Rextro?
Rextros,
yeah, those are awful. And please don't ever use those again, Platonic. Like, seriously. Don't ever do those again.
Also, let's hope Yooka-Laylee too.
I would love it. I really would.
All right, so we're on number 7?
Yes, sir.
So number 7's actually a weird one as far as reviews and what people think of it go, but eat shit. So number 7 is Rhyme.
I forgot you played that.
I'm going to start off by saying this. Don't buy the Switch version. I purposely waited for the Switch version because I wanted it for the Switch. Mm-hmm. Why? Just because I wanted more games for my Switch. As the game came out and I was reading reviews for the Switch, people were talking about it's poorly optimized, the frame rates are really shit, it sucks in dock mode, and I'm like, maybe it's not that bad. It isn't to the extent that people were saying, but it is pretty bad. Never play it out of the dock. It is one of the worst looking games on the Switch when you take it, actually one of the worst looking games of the year when you take it out of the fucking dock. It's awful. And it never drops frames at important parts. It's always when you're running around doing nothing. And the frame rate drops a lot on the Switch when it does that. But here's the thing. If I can still put this over Mario and Rabbids, and over Divinity, and over all these other games that I've already said, with all these issues, then clearly there's something good about it. And the way I describe Rhyme to Chaz, and this goes for anybody who owned a PS3, because I know a majority of the people who owned a PS3 owned this game, or at least played it, 'cause it's only an hour long.
Hour and a half-ish, yeah. It's
like a longer journey, right? So it's a puzzle adventure game that's very... it almost feels like it's inspired by parts of Journey, but it's longer. It's about a 5 to 6 hour game. Also, don't buy it on Switch because Switch tax. It's like $10 more on the Switch.
Yeah, it's one negative to the Switch, but it's actually not as bad as some people like to make it out. It doesn't happen a lot, but the fact that it does happen is still does.
It's so funny. Like it's really hard for me to describe Rhyme to somebody who's never played something like Journey or something that's purely no combat. You do puzzles to progress a story that's very ambiguous. If you don't like that kind of stuff, you're obviously not going to like it. But I like that kind of stuff. Rhyme hit that weird spot of like I hadn't played a game like that in a while, so I wanted it. I purely wanted it because I wanted more games for my Switch and it looked interesting. And holy crap, it's really good. So,
when it looks pretty, by the way, it looks pretty. It really does.
And then you start walking.
Well, yeah.
But yeah, if you're gonna buy it on other consoles. Don't buy it on the Switch. I highly doubt a patch will ever come out for it. It didn't sell that great on the Switch, so it doesn't really matter. But PC, I'm pretty sure it's on PS4. Pretty sure it's on Xbox One. Just give it a shot. Even if you only play it for a little while, I mean, at least you gave it a shot. I really like it. It's number 7 on my list. What's number 7 on your list?
So this is a game that I know is
talking to the microphone.
I have a feeling. I have a really big hunch is going to be higher up for you. And part of the reason it's only number 7 for me is I haven't played as much of it as I would have liked. But my God, was it instantly addicting, and that is Cuphead. That game, even then, if I look at my list, there is so many things, right? Like, because like the next bunch of them are ones I really, really, really liked. Cuphead is like the one that I know is going to be in the top 3 by the time I finish it. I know that. I just can't say it now
because on my list.
I can't say that now because it's not where it's at. But my God, talk about simple, stupid, challenging fun. It is such a blast. That's like the best way I can describe it. It's just fun. And it's really challenging. It is. I love that people keep referencing everything hard ever now to Dark Souls. It's always funny to me. But the best part ever is, I forget who made it, but that animation that's Dark Souls characters and like the Cuphead art style and everything, that's great. It's great.
Fantastic.
But the art style, obviously everyone sees it. If you've been on the internet, you've seen the art style of the Cuphead. It's gorgeous. It is one of, if not the best looking game
of the year.
That came out this year. If not, came out in the last decade.
And if it isn't, think about this. Every character and boss animation is hand-drawn.
Everything is so beautiful, but the creativity with the weapons is great. I don't want to talk about it too much because I know we're going to come back to it. But the creativity with the weapons is great. The creativity of the levels is fine. My only big gripe I had was I don't particularly like the running gun levels.
Yeah, and I'm not a huge fan
of
the
boss levels are so good. And the mausoleum levels and the crypt ones where you have to, like, it's like basically parry practice.
Yeah.
They're not like fantastically interesting, but they're skill perfection and you need it later on.
Yeah, it's not something that's like hurts the game because it's something you never even have to go to.
Yeah, but if you
go in there, bounce off a couple ghosts, and then leave.
But if you do though, it's still worth doing. Like it's worth because you nailing your parry is so important. Yeah, I don't want to say too much more about it. I know we'll be back to it, but wow, dude, it seriously. I mean, if you want to kind of do one of these where you want to mesh yours with mine, we can. But if you want to hold off,
we'll come back to it.
Okay.
So I know he isn't going to agree with me.
Oh boy. Oh boy.
Technically, because this itself isn't a game. It's a game mode. But
I know exactly.
But my number 6 is Fortnite the Battle Royale specifically.
Yeah. Well, Battle Royale I think came out. Did it come out? It came out after Fortnite.
Yeah, it came out after Save the World.
I've not even played the base Fortnite. To be honest.
Fortnite's weird for me. I really liked what I saw when I was watching people stream it and play it because it looked fun. I like the art style. I like the enemy designs. I like the weapon designs. The only thing that's really weird to me is like I'm not particularly a fan of like a crafting only game. And Fortnite isn't that. The base game isn't just a crafting simulator. You know, you craft, you fight off waves of enemies, you save the world. You know, you get missions, you get loot. My problem is it does too much of that, and I understand that is what the game is, but it doesn't really deviate all too much. We have a couple friends who enjoy the shit out of it, and that's fine.
I see them on Discord every night playing.
Like, it's clearly got its appeal because people still play it. But the thing that people go to now, which you kind of have to credit PUBG for, people flock to the Battle Royale mode.
Yeah.
Now, here's the thing. I'm going to get a lot of shit for this, but I don't like PUBG.
Well, I think it's fine. I think there's a lot of people who don't particularly like it.
The reason I don't like PUBG is because Fortnite just does it better. PUBG is way too much looking. You could go a whole PUBG match looking for shit, and when you finally find something, walk out a door, get shot, and die. And then you waste your time.
PUBG is more about the suspense and the thrill of the hunt, whereas Fortnite is the hunt. You are thrown into action way sooner. And there are two different, very different
Battle Royale
types of games, which I think is good. I'm happy the two exist, because how many people do we know that would or we see it on YouTube love PUBG but hate Fortnite, and vice versa. Some people love Fortnite and hate PUBG. Yeah, I'm right in the middle. I like them both.
Fortnite hits that really nice blend of arcadey action, fast matches, and the satisfaction of a Battle Royale mode.
And it's a pretty game. That's one big thing I hate about PUBG, is it looks awful. It's like optimized awful.
It's optimized even worse for console.
Yeah, but I'm saying, like, Fortnite looks good. It runs well.
On console and PC.
Yeah, it's a pretty game.
But Fortnite is something that I can't, and this is going to sound weird, I can't take seriously. But I mean that in the sense of I've always been a person, when I started playing multiplayer games online against people, I always took it way too seriously. And something weird I found out, or I noticed, was games that I was playing online that I was taking too seriously were more of the realistic kind.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I would lose my fucking mind over playing COD online and stuff like that, and Battlefield and anything else hyper-realistic like that, or realistic like that would piss me off more. Now, stuff that was a little more, arcadey and way more cartoony, Gotham City Imposters, Halo was way more fantasy.
Dude, I love Gotham City Imposters.
It's still one of my favorite online shooters ever. Like, it's so good. Even Halo. Like, I used to get mad at Halo, and it used to really piss me off, but it was never to the extent that COD used to piss me off, or like Battlefield. Fortnite hits that nice blend for me of, it's so arcadey and dumb, and everything happens so fast that I could just start up another match and not care.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I die, and I'm like, okay, back out with the group, start game. And within 8 seconds, I'm in a game.
Yep.
Like, I love that. Best part is Fortnite is, the Battle Royale part is free. You can download the Epic Game Launcher, right? And only play Battle Royale. You don't have to buy the base game.
That's literally what I've done.
So if you want a new experience, or newer, I should say, and you're either tired of PUBG or want to try something that's like PUBG, go for Battle Royale. I highly recommend it. There's a reason it's on my list. There's a reason a game mode is on my list. And,
it's good, though. I'm not going to argue it.
It's a great game mode. It's really fun. So.
All right, so my number 6 is something I've been wanting for a little while. Something that I kind of have. I didn't play the other one of this game this year. But that is Sonic Mania. I watched Sonic Forces on YouTube. Oof. That game looks like, it's like a pile of crap. I'm going to miss you, Sonic Team. But Sonic Mania, on the other hand,
holy shit.
What a game! What a freaking game! It's amazing what not Sonic Team can make. It's amazing.
A dude who made port to mobile devices.
Yeah, dude. So shout out to the team behind Sonic Mania. Thank you. Honest from the bottom of my heart. Thank you for proving that classic Sonic isn't nostalgia. That it's not just that Sonic in general isn't just it worked then, it doesn't work now. The fact that this game kind of it also plays with this kind of like rebooting Sonic cliche that Sonic Team has done. But they've proven that 2D Sonic games can continually be made and be very creative. And what I mean though by earlier when I said where they play on the trends, there's been this thing, I think Sonic Generations started it especially, where they'll like remake like an act or two of like one of the original Sonic games, and they do that in Sonic Mania. They have Green Hill Zone, and Green Hill Zone Act 1. What's that?
And Chemical Plant.
Yeah, but they have Green Hill Zone, for example, though, and the Act 1 is like almost identical to Green Hill Zone Act 1 in the original Sonic. And then but Green Hill Zone Act 2 is like such a different game, and the music is kind of played off of that. They have the original Chemical Plant, and I was like, this is almost identical to the original Chemical Plant. And then Chemical Plant Act 2 shatters everything. And then by the end of the Act 2, the boss battle, spoiler, the boss battle is basically you don't fight like Eggman in a traditional sense in this one, or Robotnik, whatever. You fight him in Tetris Attack as the boss battle. And that moment shatters everything. Like, it goes to show you that they're goofing really hard. But the music, because then after that, oh crap, I forget the name of the zone now. But after that is like the one they showed, the casino looking one. The music behind every stage after Chemical Plant, that's all new and original, is stupendous. It is some of the best Sonic music we've ever had. And so I think some of it stands on its own as some of the best Sonic music ever, in general, for the whole series. The level design is so creative, and the colors, who would have thought after all these years, 16-bit sprite work still could look that freaking good. And also, just a shout out to whoever did the opening animation to the game.
Holy fuck.
It looks great.
It's incredible.
I would watch an entire series with that animation. It looks stupendous.
Sonic Team don't make it.
No, yeah, please, let these people do it. Let people who know what they're doing do it.
For fucking real.
But wow, dude, seriously, huge shout out to Sonic Mania. Everything about it. It's one of the few games where we had a friend of ours here, we were talking about it because he was playing it through, he was slightly further than I was. And it's one of those things where I don't really have anything bad to say about it. Like, it's such a great game. It doesn't blow my mind like, say, Sonic 2.
You could say, the bad thing about it is it's Sonic. That's the bad part. Is it's going to be associated with a series that constantly can't figure its fucking self out.
But just keep doing these. If as soon as I see a Sonic Mania 2 or something announced, I'm in. I'm 100% in. I want it.
For real.
So yeah, there we're at. Now we're at our...
We're getting to the top 5.
Whew, this is going to be a long video.
The top... Number 5 for me is a nostalgia trip. And me saying that should kind of give it away to Chaz. There's a game that came out at the beginning of the year, close to the release of the Switch, that I played alongside my Switch games. And that is... I think it was around... No, it was June. So it was a couple months after. I'm an idiot.
Okay.
That is Crash Bandicoot The Insane Trilogy.
I forgot that came out!
I am a PS1 kid until I got my N64. I was a PS1 kid for the longest time. That was the first console we owned, like in my family, because I didn't grow up in like a gaming family. Me growing up, my parents, I didn't know about video games until, well, I knew, but I didn't know what they were. I didn't know about video games until around when we got our PlayStation 1, and our parents didn't even buy it for us. But I would play like Sega Genesis at my cousin's house. I'd play Doom and Sonic and I think it was Double Dragon. I'm pretty sure it was Double Dragon.
SNES?
No, I thought there was one on the Genesis.
There's Final Fight.
I played Virtua Fighter on the Genesis.
Streets of Rage.
I'm trying either way. But I used to play their Genesis, and that was like my exposure to video games. It's like, oh, this is kind of neat. I don't know what it is, but I'll do it. Our neighbor moved in across the street. Sherry and her, then husband Don moved in across the street, and they came to Christmas that year. It was their first time meeting us, or first time meeting the kids, not first time meeting the parents. And they gave us for Christmas a PlayStation 1 with 3 games: Spyro the Dragon,
it's a good one.
Crash Bandicoot,
that's also a good one,
and the Namco collection. Holy fuck, I love Crash Bandicoot. Holy fuck, I love the Insane Trilogy. The Insane Trilogy is... I'm not going to say too much about it because it'd be like reviewing the first 3 Crash Bandicoot games. But it's the best way to play the originals.
Yeah, I would agree. Well, my only gripe with the Insane Trilogy is the first game.
Yep.
The game was clearly meant and designed around a very rigid polygonal version of Crash. When they made a more fluid, kind of more curved version of Crash, some of the platforming is really weird.
I concur.
the Insane Trilogy has proven that 2 and 3 stand the test of time.
They
are better today than they were then. Been. They are so much fun to play.
And the thing is, kind of like going back to the Okami thing, it's 3 games for $40.
Yep, exactly.
That's intense.
If only it came with CTR.
That would have been fun.
That would have been awesome.
Imagine if that dude, what if that was like a download add-on pack?
Oh, it's sick.
That'd be
amazing. I love CTR.
I've never played it.
Well, I had Diddy Kong Racing, which is better, but CTR is good still.
But like I said, I'm not gonna say too much on it. But again, it hit that nostalgia bone for me of like, now I want a Spyro remake. Now I want the first 3 Spyros.
Yeah, same, exactly. This is what we were talking about the other day. I was like, now we want Spyro. Now we have to have Spyro.
But like, there's nothing like getting that nostalgia bone hit in all the right ways. Not having it hit and then it crushing your dreams, realizing the game's a pile of garbage.
Which just happened.
Castlevania 64.
Yeah, which just happened. Andrew.
But yeah, Insane Trilogy. That's number 5.
My number 5. My number 5. I have a feeling is way higher on your list, and it's one of my things I think is number 1 for you. But my number 5 is Super Mario Odyssey.
It is on my list. I'm not gonna tell you where.
Wow, though. Wow. That's my biggest thing I can say to it is just wow. Like it's.
Talk about a great Mario game.
So, just to get out of the way, the first world sucks.
Yeah, it's
like it's not there. It's not very.
It's not that great.
But wow to everything that follows. What a brilliant, fun, and just goofy time, and a very creative one. I never imagined that whole cap mechanic was going to be any good. But I keep saying these things about Nintendo, and then I keep being proven wrong. Remember when A Link Between Worlds was coming out, and I was like, oh, the paint mechanic's gonna be stupid.
It was great.
And then I got proven wrong. And I just should shut up. Like, next time a Mario or Zelda thing comes out, and you're like, what, you're gonna do that for, like, Metroid? And I'll be like, that looks stupid. And then I'm gonna get proven wrong. 100%.
As long as it's not ammo, I don't care.
Oh my god, yeah. But I know there are people who believe and have this, will make the assertion that this is the best 3D Mario game ever made. I will not argue them. It is not my favorite so far. I still have not finished it. So that's another big thing is my thing is I don't think I'll ever finish it because I keep doing everything else besides the stuff I should be doing. Which is a testament though. That is a good thing. That is a very, very good thing.
It's literally packed to the top with content.
With everything. I'm always like, I'm not leaving this world until I'm done. Until I'm 100% done.
And then even then you're not done.
And no, because then you constantly find there's more and you're like, what the heck? But also, again, what a perfect type of game to have on the Switch. Like, just being able to sit down before I'm going to bed, knock out 15, 20 minutes trying to get a moon or two. It's brilliant. It's brilliant.
It's a great game.
I won't go too much into it because I know we'll be back at it, but wow. Everybody knows it. Everybody knows it this year. It's so good.
So, number 4, we're like he said, we were going to come back to this one, but number 4 for me is Yooka-Laylee.
Oh my god. It really is good. I don't understand the hate for it.
Like, like I said, I became an N64 kid after. I grew up, my favorite genres ever, it doesn't matter what kind it is, my favorite genre is platformers. I love platformers. 2D, 3D open world collectathon, like, 2D collectathons, I don't care. I love platformers. So the fact that there were so many platformers this year that killed it makes me so happy.
Yeah.
And the fact that Yooka-Laylee scratched that Rareware itch that we've all been craving since the failure of Nuts and Bolts.
Since Microsoft purchased them. I think I don't want to blame Microsoft, but that was that purchase clearly was a change.
But kind of to reiterate what he said, the complaints never made sense to me. The only one I ever agreed with was the Rextra stuff.
Yeah.
But everything other than that, I thought to myself, every level I finished, every challenge I finished, every pagey I got, every power I got, I was like, did these guys play the same game, or have they just never played a collectathon before?
It's a fun, satisfying experience.
I don't get it. And the thing that's so cool is, like, my favorite part of the game is the worlds. And I know a lot of people have been giving them crap, which I don't get. Shut up.
They're gorgeous.
Like, shut up. The worlds are designed in such a way that it shatters that Banjo-Kazooie comparison of, like, yes, the Banjo-Kazooie levels are very open and very atmospheric, and there's a lot of stuff to do in them. But the scope of the Yooka-Laylee levels aren't even tapped when you get your first couple pages.
Yeah,
you can when you first go to a world, it's big. You're like, wow, there's a lot to do. I'll get my pages and maybe I'll come back. You can unlock more to each world with pages you find. And then these worlds become exponentially bigger, and then there's more to do. How are you mad at this game?
It is really cool beating a level only to come back and having there even more going on in that level than what you just did. You can clear a level, 100% it, come back, there's now more. That is awesome.
And the theme of this video, it's only $40.
It was so much fun.
It's packed to the brim with content, and it's mostly fun.
Well, there's a couple hiccups, yeah.
Yeah.
But honestly, it's a great 3D collectathon. If you like the 3D collectathons, like I said earlier,
get it.
You have to.
You have to. Get it. It's coming out on Switch soon. The Switch port's coming. Let's hope they don't fuck that up. I'd really hate the Switch port to be poorly optimized.
Yeah, rhyme.
But get it on Switch, get it on PS4, get it on Xbox One, get it on PC, whatever you get it for.
We played the PC version. It was great.
It was phenomenal. Seriously, play Yooka-Laylee. It's that good. Like, fuck the reviews. Fuck the reviews.
It's one of the few times. Normally, I go, okay, people usually have a point, and there's like there's kind of two sides to every argument, right? This is one of the few times where I just genuinely don't get it. I genuinely do not get it.
But seriously, buy Yooka-Laylee.
So, oh boy,
we're getting there.
So my number 4 is the game that we already talked about. So we're not going to spend too much time on it. My number 4 is Divinity: Original Sin 2. Yeah.
So good, dude.
As Randy was talking about earlier, well, let's just say this: I bought the game. Played it for a little bit with Randy. Randy went to bed. It was like 1, 2 o'clock in the morning.
I was fucking exhausted.
1, 2 o'clock in the morning. I then later realized that the sun was coming out, so I needed to go to bed.
And then the day
next
after,
day,
you did the same thing.
I had started at like 6 or 7 at night and played to when the sun came out, and I did it like it happened for a few days, but within like a 3-day period, I had almost 30 hours into it.
Just 10 hours a day.
You should just stream. Dude, but the biggest thing we talked about earlier, it's the choice. So one of the things is, right, the first day we played, it was me, you, and our buddy of ours. And we did the first, kind of like the first half of the first act, which is the prison. You're in a prison, like your boat, it's not really a spoiler, your boat sinks and you're in a prison, right? Because you're a sorcerer, you have this power that you can use. And you're trying to get out, essentially. So the first way we did it, and Randy had left kind of just before Julian and I figured out a way to get out. I did it on my character. The next day I made my own separate character, single player, and I wanted to play the whole thing differently.
And you did.
And I found there's like 7 ways out of this fort that you can go through. There are so many ways. I 100%ed this stupid fort. I wanted to do everything ever. And also, I get really into my characters when I make them. Like, I love Dungeons & Dragons and role-playing. I never thought I would. And then when I started doing it, I did. But my biggest thing is, like, my character is like this, like, noble outlaw. So I hate the fact that someone has the balls to put me in a prison, right? And I would find everybody who's, like, responsible and kill them. And I have murdered every single bad guy in that fort that could exist. Even some of the people who are slaves themselves that are also jerks, I've been like, I don't think so, Tim, and taken them out. Like, I've taken out everybody bad. I'm like, I am Batman. If Batman would kill people more.
Where's Rachel Dawes?
But, dude.
Where's the resurrection scroll?
It's the... But it's just choice. It's the biggest thing I can say. If you like RPGs in any way, it
is the best virtual D&D ever.
Also, can we just say this might be the best sequel on the list, like on our list, like the best direct sequel.
Yes.
It might even just be the best direct sequel of the year of a game.
I'm weird. I'd probably pick Wolfenstein, but that's just me.
But like, wow, is this game, and it's packed with stuff.
That's one thing that's been consistent this year. Stuff that comes out that's great is packed to the brim with content.
Yeah.
So even when DLC comes out, you don't feel bad. You're like, I already got my fucking money.
Right, exactly.
And then some. So like,
exactly.
All right, we're getting into...
This is top 3 now, right?
We're getting into the top 3. We're killing it right now. And here we go. We come back to it. Number 3 is Cuphead. Oh my god. I'm also... Going back to things I'm notorious for in our friend group, I'm notorious for having a really bad temper when it comes to certain games.
I think that's an understatement. I've seen many things break.
I'm not gonna say it's good to have a bad temper. I'm not gonna condone what I do when I'm mad, but I do have a bad temper where certain things piss me off. I've never been one to go out of my way to play something that was blatantly hard. Like, I've never played a Souls game because I know it's gonna piss me off.
Yeah.
Even though me dying's my fault, it's still gonna piss me off. I don't play Bloodborne. I don't play anything that goes out of its way to be hard. And that's not because I don't enjoy difficulty. I just like difficulty when it's on my terms. If I want to play something hard, I'll set it to hard. That's just how I am. That's how I've always been. And maybe that goes kind of back to the whole PS1 era thing. I didn't play games when they were designed hard for longevity because games were still kind of a fresh medium. When the PS1 came out, there was the choice because it was already established at that point.
Yeah.
That got really deep for no reason.
Yeah, that's fair though.
So Cuphead, I had been following. He knows how much I've been jizzing over Cuphead. I've been talking about
a while
since
now.
It got announced in 2014, and on the art style alone, I was sold. I was like, this game could suck ass. I will buy it.
I never heard about it actually. I completely. You know what it was? We saw it at like the PS4 launch event or something like that for like a second, and I remember.
No, it's the Xbox One.
Is that what it was? And I remember you just being like, "I want that game."
And it was like 50 seconds.
Yeah, and I was like, I didn't even remember it.
But
you're like, remember that really classic cartoon looking game? And I was like,
no.
I was too busy saying Kingdom Hearts.
It'll never come out.
I know.
But what was I saying? I remember. No, I don't.
Difficulty.
But yeah, so when I heard Cuphead was going to be this difficult boss rush game, I was like, do I really want to put myself through that? And the thing was like, again, something like me personally, I appreciate art direction, art style. I always have my whole life. I used to draw a lot. I used to love art, and I still do. So someone who grew up on VHSs of cartoons from that era, because my dad had them, I love them. They're fucking great. Just
awesome.
Those slapsticky vaudeville, fucking crazy, out of fucking whack 30s cartoons. They're fucking
They look
awesome.
like everybody's high on coke when they made them.
It's great. It's amazing. So like, I was like, I gotta at least give it a shot. I've been shitting my pants over this game for 3 years. I gotta buy it. Oh my god. I never understood, or I guess I understood, I couldn't relate with people's feeling like when they beat a Mega Man boss, figuring out the pattern and finally beating the boss. I get it now.
It's the reason the Souls games are as popular as they are.
I understand it now. Cuphead has done something for me for gaming that no game that's hard, any other game that's hard like this could have ever done.
Hearing the story from your now fiance about you and her co-oping the game and you beating the boss and you throwing your controller down and roaring in victory,
spiking my Xbox One controller into the
best thing ever. That is it. That is why people love those
It was
games.
one of the best feelings. It was one of the best feelings I had this year playing a game. Anytime you beat a boss in that game, you're like, take that, you fuck!
It is satisfying. And also the music, though.
It's perfect. Again, the run and gun levels aren't that great. They're like
they're the weakest part of the game.
For me, that's the only blemish. I would still rate this game a perfect score, even with those little blemishes.
It's fantastic.
Like, the fact that everything's hand drawn, or all the animations are hand drawn. The fact that these dudes refinanced their houses twice to make this game, and now they've made their money back and then some.
And there's no DLC crap. There's no pre-order bonus nonsense. The game came out and won on its own merit.
It's a good, hearty $20 game of the year contender. It is best.
We've already seen a couple lists where it's number one.
It's the best indie game of the year. I'll say it.
Yeah.
It is the best indie game of the year.
Yep.
So shout out to MDHR, to Cuphead. You're the fucking man. What's your number 3?
My number 3 is The Legend of Zelda: Breath of the Wild.
Yeah.
I was a little hesitant on Breath of the Wild, and but to be fair, after seeing stuff on it when it first came out, it began my hunt for a Switch, because I didn't get a Switch at launch. I didn't really want one at launch because the only thing out for it was Breath of the Wild that I had wanted.
And Super Bomberman.
No. That began my hunt for it, and it is a damn good game.
It is fucking phenomenal.
The biggest thing I think that it does well is finally, after so long from a Zelda game, does it let you explore. Like, truly, honest to
There's
God,
not
explore.
a single restriction past the first 2 hours.
Yeah, and it's not even the 2 hours. It's like maybe an hour. It just lets you go. And I love that so much. It lets you go, and more importantly, it lets you fail. That's the biggest thing. Also, for the first time, probably since Ocarina of Time, did tunics feel like they matter. I think Ocarina of Time gets away with it because the Goron tunic and the Zora tunic or whatever kind of borrowed that Metroid armor style, and it was like, okay, this is the first time Zelda's really going to do it. Because before then, armor just meant you took more damage.
Yeah.
This is the first time since then where
your armor and your equipment mattered.
Everything mattered, especially the armor. Like all the head, the chest, and the boots or whatever. That mattered so much to the point where you're swapping them constantly. Like, crap, I gotta climb this thing. Like, throw on my climber's gear real quick, and then up the mountain. And then you climb up the mountain, and you're in some winter place, and let me throw on my frost-resistant stuff, or I'm fighting a lightning dragon. Let me do this really cool quest that you can do that goes way too far into it, where you do everything in the Gerudo area to get yourself a helmet that makes you immune to lightning damage. That's really cool! And then you feel then, like, not only did you do it and you accomplish something and you got this item, but that item also then has value in the world.
What I like most about Breath of the Wild is Nintendo first shot nailed open world.
They did.
First shot.
Beautifully. With flying frickin' colors.
Except for one thing.
The dungeons
are pretty garbage.
Yeah, they're bad. All 4 of them suck. Really bad. And the music is really not very good. Like, right. There's like the ranch, like the stables. That's good music. But besides that, the music's not very engaging. But it doesn't matter. Everything else is done so good, and the art style, honestly, is freaking gorgeous.
It's beautiful.
It looks like, I don't know if they did water painting, but it reminds me of Guild Wars 2 in that water painting style. It really does, and it is so beautiful.
So I guess we can kind of segue this into my number 2. My number 2 is actually Breath of the Wild.
Perfect.
I'm just gonna add to you. It's like Breath of the Wild does this thing that people have wanted Nintendo to do for a while, and that's break tradition. And Zelda for the longest time has gone from what it was. This is like beating the conversation to death, but going from the open style that the first Zelda was, which let's be real, it hasn't been that way since like A Link to the Past. And the Game Boy games.
Even then, A Link to the Past is more narrative than like the original.
So
the original is
so let's stretch it to a Zelda game hasn't been like that since the first game, but the idea of a Zelda game has always been this open adventure. For the first time in a 3D space, Zelda has not only excelled at that, it's set, especially this year, the standard for what an open world game needs to be.
We were talking about this, and we were saying like Elder Scrolls for so many years set the benchmark for open world RPGs. Now, Zelda isn't an open world RPG. It's very much an action adventure game, but it is more RPG in Breath of the Wild than it's ever been before.
Mm-hmm.
And in some ways great, like the armor, and in some ways like the weapons, maybe not so great. Some of the durability and stuff of the weapons.
I'm typically not one for durability anyway.
It does kind of suck because you get attached to certain weapons and they just constantly break, and it's just not fun.
Then you gotta go hunt for them again.
Yeah, but irregardless, for the first time in a very long time, Bethesda hasn't been the one to set the bar. I think Skyrim set the bar for, here's a game that has a terrible plot, but has a crap ton of stuff to do that doesn't matter. And I'm not saying that to be mean. I'm saying that's what Skyrim does well. That's why it lasts so long for people. But Zelda feels more like an RPG because it's less structured. Like, trying to just find some of the shrines feels more like an actual RPG than even the Elder Scrolls games. Because in the Elder Scrolls games, it'll tell you it's here. Like, here's the quest marker. In Breath of the Wild, it's like,
here's where it is.
Well, they'll literally tell you, you'll see it from atop a mountain with something on it that shows you the light of the eagle. And you're like, okay, so I guess it's northwest somewhere. And we're gonna go find it. Like, that is cool. Like, and then but it does tell you when you've done it. Like, that's a cool thing too. Like, when you find that shrine, it'll go, you did it.
One thing I guess not one thing. There's a lot I could say about Breath of the Wild, but there's only so much time in a day, and it's already like 10:30. I love. Okay, the 4 dungeons are garbage. They're not good. The fight with Ganon
If you've done the 4 dungeons, the fight is boring as balls. If you've not done the 4 dungeons, it's actually a good fight.
But
oh, sorry, go ahead.
It's really nice because like it hits this thing of like you go through the world, you find these things, you run into these unexpected world bosses that give you great loot for the time you find them, and like stuff. Even if it's not great loot, you could sell it for a lot of rupees because rupees are very scarce in the game, and like there's just so many side quests to do, like collecting horses, getting horse armor, like the fucking 120 shrines, the fucking court. There's so much in this little fucking cartridge.
Even something as stupid as me being able to use my Link amiibo to get Epona, and that was it. I never changed my horse because Ocarina of Time is my favorite game. So like having Epona was just the coolest. But the horses, though, you never feel like you don't need Epona.
Yeah,
that's the other thing too. Like the amiibo stuff really wasn't that advantageous. It actually really wasn't advantageous in general. It was just
the newer amiibos give you pretty good shit.
I'm sure now.
Because there's 2. For the first time, we have a Zelda game with DLC,
and apparently they've done pretty well. Like the people that I've heard that like them really like them.
So it's just it sounds weird that this isn't my number 1 about how much I fucking love this game, but either way, that's my number 2. It's his number 3. Seriously, if you own a Wii U, if you own a Switch, do yourself a favor and buy The Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild.
Yeah.
Seriously. Like, for the love of God, I really want to play it now.
So, my number 2, I feel weird actually having that conversation about Zelda and then saying my number 2 because I think a lot of people are going to be like, oh, that's over Zelda? And my number 2 for this year is A Hat in Time, which... Wow.
What a transition.
I know, that's why I said I feel kind of bad, because I'm talking about one of the, probably, Breath of the Wild will go down as one of the greatest games I think ever made.
Yeah.
Hat in Time probably won't.
No.
But I would say it was the best 3D collectathon, or I should say the best. It was my favorite that came out this year. Would I say Odyssey is better? Yeah. But there's a charm to Hat in Time that clicked with me so much. And it's also a really good story because it's finally a Kickstarter game that, like, along with Yooka-Laylee this year, that just, like, went through, they did their thing, they released it, and it actually did really well. And there's no BS with it. There's no...
It's just
no pre-order nonsense, no DLC nonsense, no loot box nonsense.
Here's the release date, enjoy our game.
Yeah, and...
Holy hot damn.
It is so much fun. It's very easy to make certain comparisons to, like, Yooka-Laylee, because the whole point is that you're trying to collect hourglasses to basically fuel your ship again. And like very early on though, there's these charms where you're like the charm to the game is like the first, like, your like antagonist, for example, is a girl who's just like you, but she has a mustache and she has like a little red hood and she's just trying to like sabotage you the entire time in like really cute ways. And the fact that like the first town's like a bunch of big burly mafia dudes who just love to cook.
It's like, I'm not even mad at you, just stop being a bitch.
Yeah, but like the mafia dudes, they all love to cook. That's like their big thing. And, like, they're always, like, saying things like, little girl need to leave. And you're like, it's just her. But, like, the little things like all the abilities you get, like the ability to sprint or to double jump and all these other little things that you can get are tied to pins. These pins show up on your hat. And you get different hats as well. And the cool thing is, this is a little visual flair, but, like, all the hat pins you can see. Ooh, when you change your pin, you see it change on your hat. And some of them are like really neat, and you can upgrade them. So like the ability to sprint can then be upgraded even further to be like, literally, you don't sprint anymore. It just pops you on a scooter, and you like super ride through everything. And there's like little things. You get a camera, and you can like take pictures of things, and those pictures can do things for you, and like show you different things and whatnot. And there's something to do for it. Like the hats, like the fact that you can get different hats that can do things for you, or just look even different aesthetically, and then on top of that, you can get like you'll get a hat, and then you can get different just visual variations of it. But the level design is so creative, and they do a really cool thing where, just like Mario Odyssey has done now, and a lot of other 3D collectathons have done now, even Yooka-Laylee, where it's like when you get the thing, you're not done. But in A Hat in Time, they've mixed things up to where there are separate stages of that world, where like there is a, say, like, Act 1-6, where the island is a erupting volcano. You know, where, like, it's very different than the normal way the bubbling city is normally. Yeah. I like that there's both of that. It's not just a single world that you just go in and you can collect everything all at once. there's also split stages to it. And that, I think, plays a really huge advantage to it. I guess it's kind of like that comparison between what's better, Mario Galaxy 1 or Mario Galaxy 2, and I think both really have their strong points. Hat in Time, though, also has some great levels, and I think one that's constantly being referenced by people who've played it is the Murder on the Owl Express. It is one of the most creative levels I've ever seen, and it was actually funny because your fiance was sitting here. I remember playing through the level. She was sitting here. She's like, "What are you doing?" And I was like,
"We're gonna have to have her on a video at some point."
Yeah, but I was like, "She's like, what are you doing?" I was like, "Oh, I'm just playing through this level or whatever." I just happened to have started it, and it's like this really old school detective noir style like investigation level, but it's a 3D collectathon platformer, and you're trying to solve a murder. And the best part is, like, you can choose who, like, you think it is, and some of the way you find, some of the evidence you have and all that stuff, it backs it up. Everything's great, and I'm not going to spoil it. Acts are just so creative. They're dynamic. Everything is so great, even to the point where you have acts where you're trying to help two different people, and how much you help them in their own respective levels can dictate who the boss battle will be, and how much you've helped each other. Little things like that.
So here we go.
So there's a list. There's a game that you haven't said yet.
I know. So here we go. Number 1. Super Mario Odyssey. This is the most conflicted I've been on a game all year. I don't know how many conversations I had with you talking about, I don't know how much I like Super Mario Odyssey. Which sounds really weird, just revealing that's my number 1 game of the year. So, I played Super Mario Odyssey. I remember it's weird. I should have known the fact that I beat the game in 2 days, just sitting there and playing it, that it was special. My thing was, I couldn't pinpoint how much I actually liked it. To be fair, it's been a while since we've had a nice, big, open 3D Mario game. Since, like, say, a Sunshine or a Mario 64 style.
Yeah.
But Mario Odyssey, the whole time, just did it, and did it so well that it, like, threw me off.
Yeah.
Like,
I think it's fair.
I remember beating it and telling you, it's pretty good. I don't regret buying it. And then I remember, like, the day after, I was like, you know, I think I like it a little more. And just every day after that, the more and more I thought about the levels, the collectibles, the bosses. Yeah, actually,
the bosses actually are very creative.
The bosses, the power-ups, Cappy, all the costumes you can buy, how big the levels are, how many moons there are. There's just... There's so much to do and see that it threw me off. And when I finally reached the realization of, holy shit, I like this game more than Zelda.
Yeah.
I was like, wow, this game is incredible. I've been really thinking about this the past week. I'll say it. It is my favorite 3D Mario game. 100%.
It's that weird thing where I know where it is on my list now. I know it's going to go up over time. But
it's just wow. It's just even me sitting here thinking about it. I think back to all the levels. Minus the first world. I'm not gonna be like Chaz and say it's bad. I don't think it's all that great. I think there's been way better beginning levels in Mario.
That's way when better. I say I think it's bad. I think it's bad in comparison to other Marios.
And I'm not gonna use the bullshit argument of, oh, it's a different game. There's a standard for Mario levels. Like, fuck off.
A standard quality, at least.
But it was just so jarring to me that it was the first Mario game I'd played in a long time where I couldn't pinpoint how much I liked it. When I played Super Mario 3D Land, I knew how much I liked it. When I played 3D World, I knew how much I liked it. Galaxy 1 and 2, I knew how much I liked them. Mario Odyssey was the first time I was so conflicted on how much I liked it. I was like, this is weird. But I know for a fact now that Super Mario Odyssey will, for now, it may change, but it is my favorite 3D Mario game. Period. Actually, my favorite Mario game, period. I'll say it.
That's freaking awesome.
But that's my number 1.
Get over it.
All right.
So we're down to the end. We're down to the very end.
The last.
My number 1, a game that wasn't on your list, so I feel a little good about it, so we could talk about something.
Only because I haven't played. I already know what it is.
Yeah, I know you know. So my number 1 started very earlier in the year. It was in February, and that is
the same week as Breath of the Wild.
Same week, and that is Horizon Zero Dawn.
I think Tanya would agree with you.
When I say too that this is my favorite game of the year, I mean this is without a doubt in my top 20 easy favorite games of all time, if not even maybe top 10. This blew me away. And it was a game that we kind of kept an eye on. When we first saw it, we were like, that looks really cool.
Shit.
Yeah. I remember us joking about Aloy talking too much in the original. Like she said everything. Like, oh no, I gotta dodge that. And you're like, Aloy, shut up. But she's not like that in the game, which is cool too. But just, you ever play a game and it's just like everything
clicks.
Everything you're hoping for happens. Everything
and then
and more. When we were talking about this versus Breath of the Wild, I still am of the firm belief that I think Horizon is a slightly better game, which is why Breath of the Wild to me is number 3. I wouldn't fight anybody over it. Like, I wouldn't get to like a real deep discussion as far as like trying to prove myself right. I think it would be interesting to have a discussion between somebody who likes Breath of the Wild more than I did.
Maybe that's something you and Andrew can do.
It could be cool. I think it'd be a really cool discussion to have to see what people value. The thing that I love about Horizon over Breath of the Wild is Horizon is a 3D Zelda game if Zelda did what Breath of the Wild did today, but still was trying to use some of the formula from Ocarina, Twilight Princess, or whatever, where there's this giant open world that you're very quickly thrusted into, but there's a very harsh story structure when you want to get involved in it.
Mm-hmm.
And the brilliance is you don't have to. You can do so much in that game just by exploring it.
I was actually talking to our friend Jack. He just picked up Horizon a couple weeks ago. And he said he was like 15, 20 hours into the game and had done like 2 story missions.
Mm-hmm.
He's like, literally, I just run through the forest and I see like a watchtower or something, or I'll see an encampment and I'll just go do it.
And the best part is too, so like the cool thing about the way the world is set is because it's just kind of, also too, thank God it's a post-apocalyptic world
without
that
zombies.
Isn't zombies or radiation fallout or whatever, right? Like, I love the Fallout games, I think they're great. But I'm so sick of that trend, like that cliche. I know for Fallout, they kind of don't have a choice. It's in the name, but like, I'm so happy a post-apocalyptic world isn't doing that again. It's this post-apocalyptic world ruled by a machine, in a like almost like a Matrix-y style, but it's also very primitive human, but also very technologically advanced in certain ways too. It's really cool how like the stuff that's primal and the stuff that's beautifully new. Technology that we don't even have today, like in our own modern age. But I love that hunting a monster and being afraid. The first time you fight a sawtooth in that game, and your dad basically, it's not a spoiler, it's like right in the beginning, your dad's like, you need to prove yourself. Like, this is your hunt, right? That's kind of the point, because it's like a very Native American tribe. And you do, and the first time, because before then you fight these little things that are scary. In the beginning of the game, the first time you encounter them, you're running from these machines. Right? Because they can kill you so instantly, and you have nothing to fight in because you're like a little girl. The first time you see the frickin' sawtooth, and you're hiding, and you hear the steps, like that clack, clack, as it's walking, and then you look at it, it's one of the best moments I've ever had gaming, where you're just like, oh, boy,
fuck.
This is gonna be a wild ride. And it's beautiful. And then, of course, those creatures continue to show in the game, so you're able to feel like you're growing, and you're conquering them, because you're better at fighting them, you have better equipment, but they start to adapt to you as well over the time of the game. That's the cool part. There's so much. The creature design is so great. The vaults, I think, are even better than any of the shrines or the dungeons in Breath of the Wild. Like, that's the cool thing to me. They are so massive. They actually remind me of tombs in Tomb Raider, the new Tomb Raider, Rise of the Tomb Raider, and where they're like, there's a lot more going on in them. But in this, they're massive. Like, massive things. And there's always this major boss at the end of them, and some of them are super creative. The fighting is just so solid. Aloy is a great character. All the characters are great. There's not a bad character in Horizon Zero Dawn. And that's kind of my thing. Like, when I'm talking about stuff like... Here's the thing. I love an open world game where if I want to, I can go grind a ton of monsters to get materials to craft this new awesome bow if that's what I want to do today. Or I can do some hardcore, really awesome narrative plot and get myself to a point where my mind is being shattered about the possibility of this being our actual end to our own society. You can have both of that in the same day.
We got way too deep in this video.
But that's what I like about it. And that is why it's not only my favorite game of the year, it's one of my favorite games of all time. 100%.
And there you have it.
So almost an hour and a half in, if you stuck through this, I'm sorry.
This was an hour and a half.
Yeah, if you stuck through this, I'm sorry and thank you. Maybe we'll split this up into 2. Maybe we'll leave it as 1. We'll talk about it.
Maybe. I mean, worst comes to worst. I mean, we could timestamp it.
Yeah, we'll talk about it. But wow, but the thing is though, we knew this was going to be a long one anyway because
we knew
this was a good year. This was a damn
year.
Good year for gaming. Well, for releases.
Yeah.
For releases. Well, second video we'll talk about some of that.
But thank you for watching. We'd love to hear what your guys' top 10,
top
5s, favorite game.
Throw anything.
Favorite game, worst game. It doesn't matter. We'd love to hear your opinion. We'd love to grow with you, to know what you like. And
if you disagree with us, say it. Like we don't get defensive very easily about certain things. Unless you tell me I'm gross or ugly, and then that's just foolishness. But thank you very much. Yeah, for watching.
You fucking made it to the end. Thank you very much.
Whew. Have a great one. And if you haven't watched the other video, there will be somewhere here. Maybe I'm gonna scoot up and not even put a thing here. I'm gonna try to remember, but yeah, we'll do our own little more like miscellaneous. It'll be a much shorter video
much shorter.
Yeah. So, but thank you very much. Hope you had a great 2017, and let's look forward to 2018 because it looks like it's gonna be a good one. So we'll see you later.